Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are connecting and when you are replaying this. Welcome to another session of Global Chamber Monthly AI Series. I'm Yuka Nakasone, Executive Director of Global Chamber Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, and Malaga in Spain. It's wonderful to welcome you all. Thank you for coming. For those joining us for the first time, the Global Chamber is a global business community active in more than 600 cities in the world. We help companies grow internationally through professional connections, knowledge sharing, and cross-border collaboration. If you're interested, please let us know. We'll guide you through to become a member, and let's work together. As AI continues to evolve at an extraordinary pace, one thing has become very clear. We are moving beyond using AI as an individual productive tool. Organizations are beginning to build what many are calling an AI workforce, intelligent systems that don't simply answer questions, but collaborate across different functions and departments, automate complex workflows, and help leaders make faster, more informed decisions. At the same time, the opportunities come with new responsibilities. As businesses embrace AI, they must also think about governance and cybersecurity, as well as how to build systems that are both innovative and resilient. Today's session is designed to cut through the hype. We'll explore what AI can genuinely deliver today. That means organizations are seeing measurable results and how business leaders can build an AI operating system that supports sustainable growth, not just experimentation. So I'm delighted to introduce our first speaker, Rachel Trevino, CEO of Extreme. For more than 20 years, Rachel has been asking a powerful question. How do some organizations consistently outperform everyone else? Her work is brought together expertise in industrial management, operational excellence, marketing, sales, leadership, organizational psychology, and now artificial intelligence. Her philosophy is refreshingly practical. Every business is a system, and every result is the output of that system. Improve the system, and you improve the business. Today, she helps organizations integrate AI into the system to create stronger execution, greater quality, and lasting competitive advantage. Joining Rachel is Dennis Nadeau, Chief Technology Officer at Extreme. Dennis is an AI system architect specialized in multi-agent AI, autonomous SaaS platforms, cloud infrastructure, workflow automation, and cybersecurity. Over the past 15 years, he has built and scaled technology platforms from concept to commercialization, helping organizations design secure, scalable infrastructures that allow AI systems to operate safely and effectively. Together, Rachel and Dennis bring both the strategic and technical perspectives needed to understand what it truly takes to build an AI-powered organization. Rachel and Dennis, welcome. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Hello, everybody. I don't know if it's morning or evening, wherever you're attending from, but I'm so glad that you could be on. This is going to be a fun conversation. You can cue into my partner, Dennis. He's got the label of Rachel on his name right now, but I assure you, Dennis is
Just not as good looking. That's all.
Thanks, Dennis. I see more of our attendees showing up. So, like I said, I'm excited about this session. And so there's a couple ways that we're going to do this. Of course, Dennis is my partner here at Extreme. I'll give you a little bit of my backdrop so you can kind of understand what makes me even qualified to speak on behalf of these concepts. So my degree is in logistics and supply chain and marketing. So I've been formally theoretically trained, right, in the university that way. I went to the top of the sales and marketing world. I was Tony Robbins' top producer at Business Mastery. And so what I've gleaned a lot, I've interviewed over 10,000 people working for Tony. It's very similar to how we're connected now. And I realized, everybody who was trying to get to the next level, it came down to one thing. And what was that one thing? Unequivocally, it was always messaging. So I created my company Extreme after his partner, which is a great book, The Ultimate Sales Machine. I suggest this book to anybody. It's a mini business Bible for your desk. His partner got leukemia and died, which is another springboard in another conversation for another day. I launched my company Extreme, and I've taken the logistics and supply chain degree. So think about the back end of your business, the process side of your business. So that's what we do as far as launching, every business that's trying to grow. What Yuka was saying is that there really are, it's more than one thing. Your business has got a supply chain. People think a supply chain in your business is, you've got to be in the manufacturing sector, you're industrious. You're not. Every business, everything, your family functioning, as Doug says, spending time with his grandson, everything has to operate very efficiently if you want to be able to maximize and grow and scale and become more effective in the areas that are important to you. Same thing with your business. So we focus on 12 areas, but now what we're doing is, we're taking the theory from the classroom, which I'll let Dennis kind of touch on. The challenge that we see with the university is the professors aren't really applying it in the business setting, right? They're getting the theory, but the updates are happening so quick that what comes out last week is going to be replaced by something next week, if not just currently right now. So what we're doing here in the AI implementation side of things is we're taking that theory and we're using it, applying it in, of course, all of the business aspects, from sales and marketing to content to training to HR to being able to 2x, if not 10x, everything that you're doing day to day, if not multi-department wide. So again, that's kind of my backdrop, and I will give the floor to Dennis so he can introduce who he is, and then Dennis, you can let them know how we're going to be able to move through this presentation for them.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Look, we've all been on these presentations, right? And I want to kind of cater a little bit. Typically, I would have a lot more information, but it's all good, right? We'll do what we can. I've been doing this a long time, and AI was one of the early adopters, in Google Tenure, IBM Watson, for anybody who's got a little bit of knowledge back in those days. And I want to try to cater this. I get on a lot of presentations, and some are very generic. I don't like to do it like a typical presentation because everybody's use case is different. So I want to make sure that whoever's on the call, and we have quite a few people, which is great. Thank you. I want to answer some questions and guide you through things because everyone's use case is a little different. Are some people here power users of AI? Are you just getting into AI? Could you kind of just give us a little in the chat here?
Or you could even go around the room and share as well.
Yeah, because I've got some presentations put together, but I've got one on cyber, I've got one on marketing, I've got one on AI, basic stuff. So, I'd like to know where the majority of the people are. You guys kind of just like some power users. Do you want to know some enterprise systems? I see enterprise, yes, power user, use it daily, great, staff, okay. Can anyone give me a use case that you'd like to solve or a pain point, either in operations, marketing? You worried more about security?
Ooh, I'll volunteer.
Different things. Go ahead.
I was waiting for my camera to turn on. I apologize. I'm in a t-shirt. I didn't plan to be on camera. But one of the things that we're doing corporately is we're building an enterprise intelligence pipeline so that an AI system with the MCP and our trained language model ingests all of the transcripts from all these recordings that we're producing, and it
Okay.
automatically synthesizes it, standardizes it, normalizes it, and then organizes it into buckets that are useful for the organization. And so I share that because we're not going to sell that. And I think it's valuable for a lot of businesses to be able to extract information from all this data that we're producing and then put it into action to advance the business.
Thank you for that. So great. As AI evolves, and context is the most important thing for any AI, right? It has to understand, ingest the data properly. You cast a wide net, you bring it in, you do a use case to what works for you. One thing that you could look at, which is really I'm starting to use now, is called Devon AI. It used to be, it got bought out. It was part of the, not Whisper. Go to Devon AI, and there's a free trial account. I think it's basic 200 or 199. It ingests all your data from the company in the pipeline, puts it into knowledge base. You can put it on a GitHub repo. And I'm sorry if I'm talking a little above for some of you here. I apologize. It's not what I mean to do. But to answer his question, Devon AI is probably one of the best things I'm using right now. And project management is always important in context for the AI to understand your pipeline, your use cases, and to grow on that. Do you know anything about Obsidian also? Do you know anything about Obsidian or?
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with it, but I'm so fanatic that we build our own stuff instead of using public solutions.
Okay. So if you want to build your own things, then you could do an offshoot. Are you tied into any language models now, at any of your own, off of Hugging Face or Olama?
We're testing a bunch of models, but right now we're on Gemma looks to be the most valuable because I have problems with Hugging Face. My background is in security, so I'm more annoying
Okay.
than everybody else is going to
It's
be,
okay.
and so we're using some of the Google models and training them with our own data.
Gamma 4, yeah. So there's a new release coming out also. Uh, but if you want to have a side conversation, I could certainly help with that pipeline. CLIs, command line interfaces, now are offshooting MCPs. So you could do a little something like that. I'm sharing my screen right now, kind of show you my kind of second brain. I use Obsidian. I have a local host. I stopped it from talking to Obsidian. I'm like you in the background. I don't like a lot of stuff going out. But I build all sorts of use cases all the way through like AIOS. This is my agent that connects with Claude Code, just to kind of show you guys that, they, I talk to a lot of businesses and enterprise as well as SMBs, and everyone has different use
Excuse me,
cases.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You're only showing your wallpaper with the camping tent and the stars.
Really? Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you for
No
that.
problem. Thank you.
Try again. Yes, sir. How about entire screen window? Let's do a window. How's that? I have 6 monitors here, so you could,
There we go.
it's kind of jumps around a little bit. Okay, so you could see my Dennis AI OS, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so these are things that you can build internally as Kian. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Keon,
Sorry.
think
Keon.
Leon with a K.
Okay, Keon. So these are types of things that you can do. He's more into security like I am. So I like a lot of privacy. We could have conversations on that. So can you see my Obsidian here, my second brain? Did that drag into the window? Hang on, let me show where it's great. Wow, I don't understand why my
Yep, we
screen.
we see it and it's very colorful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So these are the types of things that this talks to. So I say, what can you help me with. And it'll kind of list out. And again, it's with Claude code. Error failed. Of course it failed. Always for demo. Why did it fail? Of course, I just tested it a few minutes ago and it wasn't failing. Okay, it failed again. Sorry about that, guys. I have to reconnect here. But there are certain things for use cases, right? So let me, if maybe Rachel, this might be a good thing to do, kind of just cover the tools that I use and some of the use cases, and then maybe we can ask a couple questions on how we could help with implementation. So yeah. I tell a lot of people about Abacus. Abacus is a LLM that you could chat with, has agent interfaces in, and also is really good at not just chat, but agent sessions. And I like user interfaces that combine, if there's something that takes me 5 steps, how can I do it in 4? And Abacus really helps a lot to do certain things like that. If you're not familiar with Abacus, there is, ChatGPT, there's Manus, there's Claude Code. Abacus is really user-friendly, and it does a lot of connections and can do a lot of things. So I use it for PowerPoints. I use it for quick mock-ups. I use it for a lot of different things, ingest YouTube channels. I'll talk about LM Studio, if you're not familiar with that, by Google. I'll ask it to do, my wife and I have a cat rescue. I'll have it go through and dig deep, and dogs. We do cats and dogs. I want some inexpensive flights. We're going to Sicily soon. I have an agent that just keeps track of that. And you could do build agent swarms if anybody's familiar with that. So Abacus is a really great platform if you haven't done. Again, I use it just to do some quick websites. A lot of times when I get a chat back, it's so long that I say turn it into an HTML so I can read it better. I like simple interfaces and things that I can use, but Abacus, again, is one of my go-to products that I use all the time for a whole lot of different things. That's one tool I use. I use LM Studio, Notebook LM by Google. You can ingest an entire YouTube channel just by putting it in, add a source. Here you can upload files. And one thing I like about LM Studio, and just be careful on Google, if you're uploading anything on Google, make sure it's not proprietary information, because if you read Google's T's and C's and privacy, they ingest all that data. That's why they make, 15 billion a month on data sets. So if you're worried about privacy, I would suggest maybe not use Notebook or Pompeo, which we'll talk about, and Stitch or Google AI Studio. But it's very, very good to use certain things. The one thing I like about here is you could do audio podcast. So I was just talking with a partner of mine earlier, and he has an idea. And I said, why don't you send me your idea? I will take Notebook LM and we'll chat about it. Then we'll create an audio podcast. And one thing I like, if you guys aren't familiar with Google, with Notebook LM, you can actually interject yourself inside of the audio podcast to ask it questions. So it's kind of like you're interacting with the two hosts in it. You could do slide decks, video overviews, mind maps, and it's all free, right? I have a pro account with them, the $100 a month, or actually 200 because I use it for coding. But quizzes, infographics, so you can produce some really, really neat stuff in minutes, right? Stuff that would take you longer to do, like a lot of time. Another use case, I'm doing a lot of video. I'm actually doing a movie trailer for someone that asked me. I don't sleep a lot, so I don't watch a lot of TV. So the things I do is I like to learn AI techniques. Higgsfield is really good, connects with my Claude Code. Another free tool is Pompeli. I think I'm pronouncing that right. You could literally do a whole business DNA by just grabbing in your website. It'll ingest it, tell you about your DNA. You can run simple campaigns to launch stuff. And again, if you guys are familiar with these tools, I apologize. But these are great to do your Instagram, your Facebook, your post, different things, super easy. They have a brand book now, a photo shoot. If you have a physical product and you want to take your product, take a picture of it, could put it behind different backgrounds. You can even create websites with it, right? just like I do with Abacus. So one size doesn't fit all for me, but I do like Abacus as my go-to because it does a lot. If I'm a regular user or even brainstorming with stuff, Stitch is another great free product by Google. And you just go to Google Labs and you go to Google Labs and it's got a whole bunch of different stuff. Now, AI is moving at the speed of light. And if you guys have an iOS or an Android phone and you're not updating your apps every day, I purposely didn't update my app today on my apps. Please go in and update your apps, especially if you're a power user. So whatever you're using, Grok, ChatGPT, they're coming up with so many updates, X, GPT, Gemini. Every day they're pushing updates. You want to use the latest version. That's a great thing to do to keep your stuff updated. So again, Google Labs, great place, all these free products that you can use. Gemini, Flow for video, I use Flow as well. And then get on their list. I highly, I use a lot of Google Labs. Good stuff here. So AI Studio, for any of you that want to like somebody, an expert, you could use their share screen. You could share a screen. It's an expert, right? At any subject. By sharing your screen, you could do that. My wife and I have a jewelry business. She has the jewelry business. And we run AI to do everything on our back end. We own this CRM, what's called the CRM. We manage everything here. It'll do all of our Instagram posts. Actually, the entire jewelry site here was done by AI, and it's pretty darn good. I built a quick app for my wife. She's not technical at all. She laid a piece of jewelry out on a white background, and then I had her just go and she'd talk into the app, and she created all of these scenes and backgrounds like really, really quick. I had AI upload them all. I have an agent framework that I use called Hermes Agent. And I hope I'm giving you guys some ideas on things that you could do, but it runs all of our posts here. It writes everything. And I want you to keep in mind, AI is not the answer to all, right? Everybody thinks it's a magic wand. Mm. It really isn't. But like I said, if something takes you 5 steps, you could have a quick win to do something really easy. But this, it posts all of our social media. It does our Facebook. It does everything for us. It even builds our audience. It learns as you go. I heard somebody talk about a book. I wrote a book with the help of AI, not as a writer, but kind of as an editor for me. I had the title, I'm a high school dropout, no formal training. My parents died when I was really young. I didn't have a choice. I had to go start working right away, do the things I had to do. I didn't have the luxury of having anybody pay my bills when I was really young. So I had to just fend for myself. But I always wanted to write a book. I had the title. It's called The Sounds and Smells of Marriage. And one of my best chapters is here. Farts are funny. So, because they are. And AI really helped me, right? I would write a chapter, have AI help me write. Again, it was my own tone, my own words, but it helped me format it, put it together in Google Kindle and stuff like that. And then I build apps with it. I have a cybersecurity company. AI is becoming so prevalent. Nobody's going to be able to tell between things like Hey Gen, where you could duplicate yourself so easy with avatars, create what we call any type of short video, long video. You create your own characters, do all sorts of things with it. So, I built a little business with, talking about scams, investigation tools, reverse searching, AI or not, where people can upload stuff. And again, this isn't about me. It's about what you guys can do with it. You're talking about enterprise solutions. If you have employees, some are not there yet. You could give them some quick wins to do certain things. I'm just kind of showing you the things that we do every day. We put resources together. It's going to be a big problem. I've had so many people that are intelligent that have been getting scammed by AI. both social engineering through their Instagram, Facebook accounts, certain things. Products like HeyGen, which I really recommend. It's one of the top leaders to create avatars, user-generated content, video lessons and courses. If you don't like to be on camera, you can literally create an AI avatar of yourself and then do video, do courses, do all sorts of different things. 11 Labs is a place where you can kind of do voiceovers. They have teach text to speech, speech to text. Again, some of you guys might be familiar with these already. For marketing tools, we use HeyReach all the time. I use another one called La Growth Machine, which is a little bit better. They're a little more. I connect to my sales LinkedIn Navigator, Sales Navigator, with a bunch of other things we do also. This is kind of HeyReach. And then, you could build all sorts of concepts, platforms. If you guys aren't familiar with Hermes Agent, Hermes Agent is what powers the back end of almost everything we do. I run it on Telegram and Discord. And here it is here. Let me hope that I can share this here. I don't know why the window is not going, but let me do it again. So I run everything. My business is basically run on Discord and Telegram between my apps. So this is Hermes Agent here that I speak with on my Telegram account. And I hope I'm not taking too much time, Rachel.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
That's kind of our workflows. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me just interject. If anybody has any questions for Dennis or myself, by all means, feel free to interrupt. This is nothing formal. As informal as you guys want to make it.
As I understand, these are the tools that you're kind of recommending right now, and still we didn't talk about AI orchestration or agent orchestration or workforce concept, right?
Yeah. Could you give me a use case? I could better help you. Like I could craft it a little better.
I would like you to expand the concept of workforce, orchestrating agents, conceptually a little bit, so that people understand what you're talking about.
So, okay. Let me start with possibly one that everybody knows, which is Claude Code, right? So Claude has Coworker. It has different types of sessions that you can do within Claude to take over your computer. There's also ChatGPT, which has a Coworker. So I'm implementing a system for a company right now. They're a manufacturing system. They have about 50 employees. They want AI to help them do certain things. What we do within the infrastructure is I use a product like Hermes Agent and Claude Code in order to help them orchestrate. It's not 5x on their time, it's 1xing. I mean 2xing someone's time. So again, these agent infrastructures are fairly easy to implement within a system and can help anyone from that doesn't know how to use it to advanced AI agent infrastructure. So these agent frameworks get smarter. They learn more based on your context. And these are the types of things, the tools that people need to use or are using today. This manufacturing company does, they're a dock manufacturer. They do international business. They ship certain products all over the place. So they need help with supply chain. They need help with estimating. So we are building apps that connect with their Hermes agent, that connect with their ERP, their CRM, and then their e-commerce pipeline as well. So from estimating all the way to follow-up, agents are taking over probably 70 to 80% of what a human used to have to do. So even on follow-up, let's say an estimate is missing a quote from a vendor. We're doing email, voice, and text. And then we combine it, like I said, all into one framework. So that's either an ERP system, a CRM system. And, you have to watch out for security. You have to do that. But Hermes Agent, there's another one called OpenClaw. Hermes is probably the leader in it. It's a free framework that you can integrate inside of it. So these are the types of things that we're doing. And again, you asked me about how they're implementing it. I work kind of a little better on a use case scenario. So if someone has a use case that they would like to know about, that would be, much better for me. I could give you more detail.
I guess my question is how a business leader or business owner or who wants to implement AI decide or detect or decide the applications,
The best route. So you're talking about the best tools to use, correct?
No. How do they prioritize all the things they can? You demonstrated a lot of tools right now, right? It's not the point of using them all. We need to kind of prioritize and see where we can implement AI or AI agents or agents workflow or orchestration. And how do you decide these applications?
So the process that I use is discovery. If someone's calling me and they're asking me, we know about AI, we want to get into AI. First, I ask them, I say, tell me a little bit about your business. Tell me the pain points that you're having, and let me see how I can help you solve those. And that's the discovery is the most important thing. As I mentioned earlier, is everyone has a different use case, right?
Yeah.
So one size doesn't fit all. The go-to tools for personal are a whole lot different for business. They're going to want a different marketing approach. Some people are using different types of integrations, and someone on the front end of their office might not be a power user, might not understand anything. So how do you teach that person to have what I call a quick win, meaning so that they feel comfortable using AI, so that they're not afraid of that AI taking their job, but it's actually an add-on benefit to them to 10x, to 2x what they're doing. Does that help a little more?
Yeah. So you're saying that your services, your product or services is very customized depending on the person who comes in front of you. You customize all the solutions.
That is correct.
Yes, great.
Because everyone has a different pain point.
Yeah.
So hiring might be, finding a qualified person might be a pain point for them. Bringing in the right talent might be dealing with the psychological side of an employee that they're having problems with, right? AI can help in a lot of different ways, because think about it. You have all of the knowledge of anybody that is past or present accessible to you, and it can ingest PDFs. It can ingest a whole lot of data outside of it if you give it the direction to go in. So I apologize for not being able to specifically answer your question.
No, it's okay. I needed the concept of your product or services so that we can understand, right?
Yeah.
Or we can hire you. Yes, Stephen, please.
Yeah, I had a couple questions actually. So, where do you find all of these apps? You mentioned, I mean, it's like a lot of them I've never heard of before, and I'm pretty tech-affine, if you could say. And the other question is, nothing's free. So, how are these companies actually making money on free apps?
So, for example, great question. Thank you. Google AI Studio or Google Labs has always provided, let's say, Google Workspace. They've always provided what I call the Trojan horse, right? They give you the free product, you go in it, you give them for what in exchange? Data, because they make money from data sets. That's how they make money from their pay-per-clicks. They sell data. So they give you all these free products. Abacus is owned by a San Francisco company. Manus is another product that's really good. So, like are you guys, anybody familiar with Ahrefs or SEM Rush for marketing or, target marketing, right? So when somebody comes over and they want to do marketing, they have a concept or an idea. I always say, don't spend a lot of time about the idea. Why don't we see if there's a target market for it? So Abacus is great for that target market. You could do all sorts of research. And it's not just a high level, because men think differently than women. Gen Z, millennials think differently, right? Everybody's kind of, someone in Europe thinks differently than someone in the States. So I love to use Manus. I love to use Abacus or even Google Gemini to go in or Claude. I know, I'm sorry, I'm mentioning a lot of tools because I kind of bounce around in these tools because they're all trained differently. The models are different. They all have their own personalities. They all want to please you. So if I could give you a power tip to do, whenever you're chatting with an AI, if it's a regular chat, you have to tell it again what you want and make sure you say, I want an unbiased opinion. Help me. Don't tell me what I want to know, because it will please you. It has that, and it will go in and please you. So you always say, please help me. And then at the end, I say, is that the best that you can do? And it will come back and it'll do better. And I said, well, why didn't you give me the answer the first time? So Stephen, I'm sorry. Let me answer a couple things again. I don't sleep a lot. I follow about 4 or 5 different people on YouTube. And that's all I do, is I look to see what is good.
But you did mention that you were married. So how is that possible?
I did, and I wrote a book about it. Yeah.
So
behind every good person, there's another person rolling their eyes, right? So she's very listen, we live together. I work from the house here. I used to have offices and I just kind of gave them up. Like Rachel, I've been remote for a long time. But I do love the office environment. I just do. But so she's very tolerable.
Would it be possible? You mentioned a lot of tools, very interesting. Like I said, I am tech-affine, but it's like most of them I've never heard before.
Okay.
Could you send us a list or put a list or send it to Doug so that
I will. We put a presentation together and I can just send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make it available. So if you're looking at my screen right now, we did put a little presentation together. So to me, it's not everybody. I want someone who's not using AI a lot to just get into it, right? You can't break it. You can't do stuff with it. Just go ahead and try something, right? You can't break these models. So GPT, Claude, I use Grok because they're different. Gemini is different. Abacus is a little, again, my go-tos are probably Abacus, Notebook LM. These are the types of things that you can really learn from a lot. And I like ChatGPT because it's got a great talk interface. You could talk to it back and forth. Just remember, AI is like a 5-year-old that's smarter than every person on the planet. But if you tell your 5-year-old, I want a drink, and they go to the refrigerator and you have a soda, orange juice, water, something in there, and you're not specific of what you want, it's going to bring back maybe 1 out of 4, right? So be very specific all the time, and chat interfaces are different. And this is the new horseless carriage, right? The new horse and buggy.
One other question. I'm sitting here in Germany, and if you've known anything about, like, in Europe, Germany actually was the main driver of all of the data protection laws. Probably has the strictest ones in Europe, or if not worldwide. How are some of these? Do any of the tools that you're talking about right now, are you aware? Are there any restrictions because of data protection, data privacy, etc.? It'd be interesting to know, because certain things, even with ChatGPT, we're being told with some of the companies, well, you have to be careful of what you're using, and I'm in recruiting, so most of the data that we're using is very sensitive.
So never upload anything to an AI that you don't want public. So I use it as a medical for me because it's smarter than a lot of medical people. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody who's an MD or physician or nurse on the team. It's just that a lot of people are in their own lane. And with AI, I block out my blood, I block out my date of birth, my name, I block out any sensitive info, and I just upload something to my AI agent. And then I give it my background. I'm a male, I'm X years old, 62. I'm in good health. I work out, and then it'll ingest that info. So whether it's an X-ray, whether it's an MRI, and I do that, but I always say data is be careful, like you're saying.
Yes.
Have a lot of data protection. If you can't access a tool from Germany, get a VPN, virtual private network, a VPN.
I have one for Netflix.
Yeah. So there you go. VPNs can access because Google will not allow you certain tools. But again, don't upload any sensitive information you don't want anybody to have access to, right? So but there are private models that you can build. There are a lot of GitHub repository projects. If you're not familiar with GitHub, it's a place where coders and developers will put up a project so there are a lot of them that are doing their own private LLMs. And somebody, Kian, sorry, was on the phone. He's using Gamma 4, which is a Google model. You download that model. It could be private on your computer, but you kind of have to watch to see if there's anything communicating with it in the back. But there are private models, Stephen. I hope that helped answer your question.
Okay.
And
Now we
Stephen,
have our own, like I said, we have somebody within our company who's the data protection person, and we have to go regularly, at least, right now it's a little bit more now because of all the changes going on for our data protection training.
Yeah. And it's just so fast. It's SOL, speed of light right now. It's where we're going to be in 3 months from now is going to look so different. And people ask me, can you talk 6 months out? I go, no, I can't. I can't.
So, thank you, but we have to be a little mindful about timing because 55 we need
Rachel,
to
go ahead. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to
no.
hijack the
But
conversation
data
here.
protection in Europe is very, very strict. And Stephen, I really recommend you to talk to your person in the company because lots of the tools that he shared here are kind of worldwide or US based. So so maybe you can potentially use it. So be very mindful. Okay.
It's for me from my personal side, just very interesting. I probably don't have a need to use them all or a good bit of them, but it's interesting to know what there is. Also considering within my company, I'm also on our global practice team for media and technology, so I should at least be somewhat familiar with that.
I bet so. Yes. We need to kind of strategically think about the data protection. And lots of people are moving to small, instead of LLM to SLM, small language model, so that you can protect the data on your site, on your server, all that kind of stuff. So that's coming right now. And Rachel, you didn't talk too much, and I'd like you to talk about your business or your model or
Sure. So, of course, as you can see, my partner Dennis is a vast array of information. We could go into custom interface models of a business operating system for you guys. So if you have any interest in something like that, we can absolutely dial in more to that. What we're seeing on the sales side of things here, that's what I do. I help, companies train their sales. I help them build their content right. Basically, kind of how you guys can understand it in the sales and marketing world is elevator pitch. But the elevator pitch used to be, a combination of research, core story research. Now, what we're doing with that content, of course, is using AI to accelerate the pace and the impact of it, and some of the viral nature. So on our side of things, what we're seeing is salespeople are being able to do, the average person. What we're seeing in that industry is the average person who's out there selling, which we all are representing something, right? When you talk to somebody, you're here with your enterprise. Typically, your day is spent 70% around either follow-up or non-revenue generating activity, non-RGAs, we call them. And so with AI, what we're finding is that AI is doing most of the grunt work now. It's doing most of the lead prospecting. It's doing most of the appointment setting, the follow-up, the nurturing, so that salespeople can get more focused on just, the ABCs, and we emphasize the C, closing. So, everything from information generation, like I said, we're seeing substantial impacts on productivity and efficiency. If anybody has any questions specifically about the business enterprise, the concepts that I speak about here on the business mastery side of things, by all means, if anybody has any questions, do let me know. Is there anything else you'd like me to? I know we're kind of limited on time, so I want to.
Okay.
Hmm.
So does anybody have any question? Stephen,
I
yes.
guess I'm the guy with the questions. Now, I've been using extensively now, well, right now, ChatGPT, when going to trade shows. So, in Germany, you have, for example, the world's largest medical trade show. Several thousand companies. Over a week's time, you can't visit all of them, so you have to say prioritize, dig in. And what I have found right now, you can't just dump everything in the ChatGPT and spit me out a list that here's the requirements that I'm looking for potential clients. And the only way I've been able to do that now has been using ChatGPT in small chunks. And if you're talking about a size of about 1,000 companies, just alone from German companies attending this meeting, to try to narrow it down to something manageable, you're still about a week and a half or so going through these type of companies because ChatGPT can't handle the volume, getting down in the detail. Are you aware of any other type of tools that you could say, okay, throw in your list and it'll go through and then give you the idea of which companies would be relevant based on your target criteria?
Great question. So yeah, absolutely. That's what we're seeing too. With the right tool, and like you can see, there's a bevy of them. I personally am really into Claude right now, and then Devin AI as well. It's going to highlight your biggest lead opportunities. It's going to do that math just naturally. So that's why the nature of interactions is going to get that much more impacted, right? Because it's going to tell you stuff that you weren't even naturally looking at, and you can always ask. One of my favorites is the 80-20 rule. When you have all your information into your systems, prompt it, ask it to use an 80-20, the Pareto principle. Out of every activity that I have going on today, which is my most beneficial, which is my biggest revenue generating activity today? And it's going to show you on a daily basis, and you can set that to show you where you need to spend your time. So I hope that helps.
Okay. So
No, it's like I said, it's very interesting. Up until about a year ago, it would have been like, okay, roughly have a gut feeling about this, but nothing substantial. Right now, it's like, how can I get substantial data? So I use in the time of a meeting, how can I get the most out of it? And I think that's the major value for these type of tools.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So maybe we can take this to the side because we are getting to the closing time. And thank you very much, Rachel and Denise. And Doug, thank you very much for being here. Any final word?
I think you've got a plan for next month as well, Yuka.
Yes.
So
it's in the same line of agentic workflow and orchestration with more database kind of stuff because this is a database data company more than.
So I think we got our fill today. So thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Dennis. Lots of different apps. That list of 100 apps. Yeah, definitely you've got that.
Well, it's not 100, but it's a couple. Yeah, it's just a few to help you guys. So thank you, Doug. Thank you, Yuka. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you and what you guys are doing. Similar, we have a tool called Globinar, and when I jump into the weekly meetings on those with our team. The pace of change is so scary, but also liberating from the standpoint of, what it's doing to changing the workforce. So thank you for being on top of that, and God bless your wife for all that she is going through, and all of us are going through. So we need to jump off because we have another Globinar. I'm trying to think of what is the next Globinar. Let me just double check what that is. It's Global Chamber. Oh, it's meeting the Central Florida leadership team. And speaking of amazing people, you two are extraordinary. Mona Cherkawi, who is our executive director for Global Chamber Central Florida, she's combined Orlando with Tampa and Space Coast and brought that whole group together. And she's got a leadership team, and we're going to talk about the opportunities in Florida. So it'll be a little bit more regional, but I'll bet AI comes up.
Well, there are tons there. I just looked at the event list. There are so many events. So yeah, I would like to try and maybe hop on that one. I don't know about you, Dennis, but you will definitely see more of Dennis. And like I said, if you guys want to do a continuum of this presentation and dive deeper into the paint, we can do that, at some point in time too. But it's been a pleasure, Doug, as always. A great group you put together, and thank you everybody for attending. Dennis, great job, and Yuka,
Thank you,
thank you for your masterful organization.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you.
Until
Bye,
next
everyone.
time.
All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.